Now, in an interview with Bloomberg News ahead of the Nuclear Security Summit, President Park Geun-hye reaffirmed that South Korea is committed to nuclear nonproliferation and that denuclearization should start on the Korean Peninsula. Hwang Ho-jun has the details.
The leaders of 52 countries and 4 international organizations will highlight the achievements from previous meetings at this year's Nuclear Security Summit, including the efforts by individual countries to reduce their nuclear arsenals as they build a more sustainable security architecture for carrying out their denuclearization commitments in the future. Although persuading North Korea to give up its nuke is not on the agenda, President Park Geun-hye says South Korea remains firm on its stance that it will lead the world in denuclearization and not develop its own arsenal. In a written interview with Bloomberg News published Thursday ahead of the summit, President Park says she has a strong conviction that the vision for a nuclear-free world must begin with the Korean Peninsula. There have been growing calls from some in South Korea, and most recently from Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, for the country to develop its own nuclear arsenal in the face of continued provocations from North Korea. The UN Security Council imposed a tough new set of sanctions on Pyongyang in the wake of its nuclear tests and missile launches. In response, North Korea has fired off several more missiles and vowed another nuclear test. President Park said the North would self-destruct if it continues to go down this path, and said that it's a problem that should not be neglected, as it will lead to an irreparable catastrophe on the Korean Peninsula and the collapse of the foundation for peace and order in Northeast Asia and the world. President Park also said she would continue to impose sanctions on North Korea instead of pursuing dialogue in order to induce change in Pyongyang. Hwang Ho-jun, Arirang News.